Hello and welcome. You're watching the news at 10 on Rajya Sabha television. Our nation is celebrating a Vijay Kargil Divas today, marking India's victory in the 1999 Kargil conflict with Pakistan. That is our top focus this morning in news at 10. Also a recap on all that transpired in Parliament yesterday and other news from India and across the world coming up in the next 30 minutes, starting with the headlines. Nation marks Kargil Vijay Divas. Prime Minister says day reminds us of military prowess. Defence Minister and Tri-Services Chiefs lay tributes at Amar Jawan Jyoti. Prime Minister surveys flood-hit areas in Gujarat, announces interim assistance of 500 crore rupees. Rescue operations on in flood-hit areas of Rajasthan and Odisha. Separatist leader Sabir Shah arrested by Enforcement Directorate in alleged terror funding case. NIA gets the custody of 7 separatists held on Monday. Rescue operations on in Mumbai after building collapse. 17 people killed, 11 injured. Police detained Shiv Sena leader who owns the property in Ghatkopar. And India win toss, select to bat first against Sri Lanka in the first of the 3-match test series in Galle. India without their regular opener KL Rahul. Sri Lanka without test keeper Dinesh Chandimal. The country today is celebrating the 18th anniversary of Kargil Vijay Divas. On this occasion, Defence Minister Arun Jaitley and 3 chiefs of services laid floral tributes at the Amar Jawan Jyoti in India Gate. Prime Minister Narendra Modi in a tweet hailed the Indian Armed Forces for their prowess and sacrifices for the country on this occasion. 26th of July is celebrated as the anniversary of India's victory in the 1999 Kargil conflict with Pakistan. The Kargil conflict in the mountains of Jammu and Kashmir's Ladakh region took place after Pakistani troops occupied Indian posts on the heights. It took about 3 months for the Indian forces to recapture the posts. More than 500 soldiers from the Indian Armed Forces sacrificed their lives during the war. 4 Paramveer Chakras, 9 Mahavir Chakra, 53 Veer Chakra and other medals have been awarded to felicitate the Kargil war heroes. Meanwhile, Defence Minister Arun Jaitley yesterday assured the upper house that the Indian Armed Forces are sufficiently equipped to defend the sovereignty of the country. His assertion came after the opposition members expressed concern over a CAG report on shortage of ammunition in the country.
Defence Minister Arun Jaitley sought to allay concerns of opposition members in the upper house on defence preparedness. He pointed out that the CAG report had the year 2013 as a reference point and significant progress was made subsequently.
The report has reference in relation to a particular point of time. Thereafter, procedures have been simplified, powers have been decentralized, and the armed forces are reasonably and sufficiently equipped, let me assure this House.
Opposition members highlighted CAG findings about shortage of arms and ammunition, stating that it comes amid tension on the borders with both Pakistan and China.
सीमाओं पर तनाव है। चीन और पाकिस्तान दोनों क्या कर रहे हैं सब जानते हैं, लेकिन ये स्थिति से इसको पढ़ के सारे देश के लोग चिंतित हैं। जो भी खरीद फरोख्त करनी होती है, बोफोर्स के बाद लोग इतने डर गए हैं कि अधिकारी दस्तखत नहीं करते हैं। देश को बचाने के लिए जो भी खरीदना पड़े, जो करना पड़े वो करिएगा, लेकिन देश को बचाने के लिए आप लोग इस मामले में कोई लाएतलाली न बरतें।
I want specifically to know from the Leader of the House and the Defence Minister that when was this procedure simplified? It was only 10 days before when the Vice Chief of the Army, a committee has been set up And the government has now taken a decision to go for emergency ammunition purchases. And
anyhow, defense minister.
No. It is not something which is available like you are buying an ice cream in the market.
No, please.
Citing stock holding in September 2016, the CAG report says that with regard to at least 40% of various types of ammunition, the Indian Army has just about enough to fight 10 days of war. Of the 152 types of ammunition crucial to fight a war, 61 will last just 10 days, while it's compulsory for the army to hold enough for 20 days of intense battle. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, some other news. Ramnath Kovind was sworn in as the 14th President of India on Tuesday. In his first address to the nation, recalling his days as a Member of Parliament, Kovind said that India's unity in diversity was the key to its success. Kovind is the second Dalit President after K.R. Narayanan. Outgoing President Pranab Mukherjee, Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari and Prime Minister Narendra Modi were among those who were present at the ceremony.
Ramnath Kovind on Tuesday took oath as the 14th President of India at a ceremony in the Central Hall of Parliament. He was administered the oath of office by Chief Justice of India J.S. Kheher. At around 11:15 a.m., a car kit arrived from the Rashtrapati Bhavan to take Kovind for the oath-taking ceremony.
मैं ईश्वर की शपथ लेता हूं कि
रामनाथ कोविंद ईश्वर की शपथ लेता हूं कि
मैं श्रद्धापूर्वक
भारत के राष्ट्रपति के पद का कार्यपालन करूंगा.
At the presidential palace, Kovind was accompanied by his wife Savita Kovind and outgoing President Pranab Mukherjee. A 21-gun salute was also given in honor of the newly elected president. Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan were among those present. Soon after taking oath, Kovind said he was honoured to be sworn in as the 14th President and will carry out his responsibilities with all humility. In his first address after the swearing-in, Kovind said India's unity in diversity was the key to its success. The new president advocated the need to build an India that was not only an economic leader but also a moral exemplar.
मैं इस महान राष्ट्र के 125 करोड़ नागरिकों को नमन करता हूं और उन्होंने मुझ पर जो विश्वास जताया है उस पर खरा उतरने का मैं वचन देता हूं. साथियों, देश की सफलता का मंत्र उसकी विविधता है. विविधता ही हमारा वो आधार है जो हमें अद्वितीय बनाता है. इस देश में हमें राज्यों और क्षेत्रों, पंथों, भाषाओं, संस्कृतियों, जीवन शैलियों जैसी कई बातों का सम्मिश्रण देखने को मिलता है. हम बहुत अलग हैं, लेकिन फिर भी एक हैं और एकजुट हैं.
The president said while India had achieved a lot as a nation, the effort to do more and do better should be relentless. Kovind also made special mention of women and their role in nation building.
अब स्वतंत्रता मिले 70 वर्ष पूरे होने जा रहे हैं. हम 21वीं सदी के दूसरे दशक में हैं. वो सदी जिसके बारे में हम सभी को भरोसा है कि ये भारत की सदी होगी. भारत की उपलब्धियां ही इस सदी की दिशा और स्वरूप तय करेंगी. हमें एक ऐसे भारत का निर्माण करना है जो आर्थिक नेतृत्व देने के साथ ही नैतिक आदर्श भी प्रस्तुत करे. हमारे लिए ये दोनों मापदंड कभी अलग नहीं हो सकते.
Before going to the ceremony, the new president and the first lady also offered their respects to Mahatma Gandhi at Rajghat. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
The senior Congress leader Ahmed Patel has been re-nominated as the party's candidate for the upcoming Rajya Sabha election from Gujarat. He will file his nomination papers today. Now, Patel's first term in the Rajya Sabha had begun in 1993, and if re-elected, the 67-year-old leader would become a member of the upper house of parliament for the 5th time. Meanwhile, in a meeting of the Congress MLAs held in the state party headquarters, Mohan Singh Ratwa was elected as the in-charge leader of opposition in the Gujarat Assembly till a new leader is appointed. The new LOP had to be appointed as a veteran leader. Shankar Singh Waghela, who was the LOP in the State Assembly, quit the party on 21st of July. The election to the Rajya Sabha seat in Gujarat will now be held on 8th of August, and the last date for the filing of nomination for 10 Rajya Sabha vacancies from Gujarat, West Bengal and Madhya Pradesh is 28th of July. News from Jammu and Kashmir, separatist leader Shabir Shah was arrested by the Enforcement Directorate last night. Now, this is in connection with over a decade-old money laundering case against him for alleged terror financing. He was arrested in Srinagar and is expected to be brought to Delhi today, where he will be produced in a court. The Enforcement Directorate had issued multiple summons to Shah, but he never deposed before it. A Delhi court had earlier this month issued a non-bailable warrant against him. The agency had issued several summons to Shah over the last few years following the August 2005 case, where the Delhi police had earlier arrested Mohammad Aslam Wani, an alleged Hawala dealer. Now, Wani had claimed that he passed on 2.25 crore rupees to Shah. The ED had registered a criminal case against the Prevention of Money Laundering Act against Shah and Wani. Wani has been arrested as well. Meanwhile, all the 7 Hurriyat leaders who were arrested on Monday for funding a Kashmir unrest were sent to 10 days of NIA custody by a Delhi court. The arrested separatist leaders include hardliner Sayyid Ali Shah Gilani's son-in-law Altaf Ahmad Shah and the spokesman of the Gilani-led Hurriyat group Ayaz Akbar. Following their arrest on Monday, separatist leaders Gilani and Mirwais Umar Farooq gave a call for a shutdown in Srinagar. Public transport, shops, other businesses and educational institutions remain closed. The authorities also imposed restriction in parts of the valley to avoid any untoward incident. Meanwhile, the crackdown on Hurriyat leaders by the NIA has evoked several reactions. Let's listen into some of them.
NIA को मुबारक, अब सच्चाई सामने आएगी. आपको भी मालूम होगा, हमें भी मालूम होगा कि पैसा कहां से आया, किसने लाया, उसको कैसे इस्तेमाल किया गया. ये खुशी की बात है.
जो जांच एजेंसी काम कर रही है वो देश के हित में काम कर रही है. हमें यहाँ से आतंक समाप्त करना है, अलगाववादियों को अपनी जगह दिखानी है, देश को हमें अखंड रखना है, देश की रक्षा करनी है और कश्मीर की जनता को सुरक्षा देनी है. इसलिए हमें कार्रवाई करने के लिए जो एजेंसी को काम दिया है, एनआईए काम कर रही है, वो करती रहेगी, उन्हें को रोकेगा नहीं.
कानून तो अपना काम करेगा और इस तरह से जो अलगाववादी नेता हैं, गिलानी हैं या अन्य हैं, उनका भी असली चेहरा देश के सामने आया है.
Time for a very short break. We'll be right back with more news. Stay with us.
आजादी की जंग लड़ने वाले मेरे दोस्तों, आजादी चाहिए तो उसकी कीमत खून देके चुकानी होगी. तुम मुझे खून दो, मैं तुम्हें आजादी दूंगा.
आईएनए की बागी फौजियों पर अंग्रेज देशद्रोह का मुकदमा चलाएंगे.
उन तीनों के बचने के चांसेस कम हैं.
This trial and its judgment will be remembered throughout history.
Setting the ball rolling for the appointment of the next Chief Justice of India, incumbent J.S. Khehar has named Justice Deepak Mishra as his successor. Now, according to the laid down procedure, the Law Minister writes to the CJI asking for his recommendations on who should succeed him. Now, the CJI has replied recommending the name of Justice Mishra. Justice Khehar retires on 27th of August. 63-year-old Justice Mishra is the senior most judge of the Supreme Court after Justice Khehar. Justice Mishra will retire on 2nd of October 2018. Prime Minister Narendra Modi conducted an aerial survey of the flood-affected areas of Gujarat yesterday. He announced an interim assistance of 500 crore rupees for Gujarat, where 2 districts continue to reel under floods. The Prime Minister also announced an ex gratia of 2 lakh rupees each for the next of the kin of those killed and 50,000 rupees to those seriously injured. Here are all the details. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday made an aerial survey of the flood-affected areas of Gujarat. He announced an interim assistance of 500 crore rupees for Gujarat, where 2 districts continue to reel under floods. Prime Minister Modi, who undertook an aerial survey of the flood-hit areas with Gujarat Chief Minister Vijay Rupani, said that 10 more Indian Air Force helicopters would be pressed into service for rescue and relief operations.
भारत सरकार की तरफ से स्टेट डिजास्टर रिलीफ फंड के लिए 500 करोड़ रुपए से भी ज्यादा तत्काल मुहैया करा दिया जाएगा और सर्वे करने के बाद जो भी आवश्यकता होगी उस आवश्यकताओं को भारत सरकार तत्काल परिपूर्ण करेगी.
PM Modi has announced an ex gratia of 2 lakh rupees each for the next of kin of those killed and 50,000 rupees to the seriously injured.
मैं मुख्यमंत्री विजय रूपाणी जी और उनकी पूरी टीम को भी बधाई देता हूं, क्योंकि जो मैंने रिव्यू किया, जिस तेजी से सरकार ने सारी परिस्थिति को संभाला है, रिस्पॉन्ड किया है और उनके पास सारी जानकारियां हैं, आगे की ब्लूप्रिंट तैयार है, तो इतनी तेजी से गुजरात सरकार सक्रियता के पूर्वक काम किया है.
The flood has affected Banaskantha and Patan districts, prompting authorities to declare a statewide high alert. However, hundreds of people are still waiting to be shifted to safer places. Meanwhile, rescue operations resumed in rain-hit areas of Rajasthan's Jalore district. At least 19 people were rescued from inundated areas. Relief operations are also on in Sirohi and Pali districts that are facing flood-like situation due to incessant rainfall.
3 जिलों में विशेष रूप से बाढ़ का प्रकोप रहा है और चौथा जिला अब जुड़ रहा है वो बाड़मेर है. सबसे ज्यादा जो संकट की स्थिति थी वो जालोर में थी. जितने लोग भी थे उन सब लोगों को हमने 40-44 लोगों को निकाल लिया. कहीं एनडीआरएफ ने निकाला, कहीं एसडीआरएफ ने निकाला. आर्मी का कॉलम ने भी 14 लोगों को उन्होंने भी बाहर निकाला. कम से कम पानी से गिरे हुए किसी की डेथ नहीं हुई.
In Odisha, Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik asked the administration to evacuate people from low-lying areas of Keonjhar, Bhadrak and Jajpur districts due to incessant rains. He also directed the administration to keep at least 60 multi-purpose shelters ready to house the people likely to be evacuated.
खेती बाड़ी के लिए बारिश बहुत जरूरी है, लेकिन आम आदमी को परेशानी तो होती है. देखिए बारिश में कितना लोग भीगता है और सड़कें जाम होती हैं, ट्रैफिक जाम होता है.
Meanwhile, the overall flood situation in Assam improved considerably, with Brahmaputra and Barak rivers as well as their tributaries showing a receding trend. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. News from Mumbai, where at least 17 people were killed and 11 others were injured when a 4-story residential building collapsed in suburban Ghatkopar on Tuesday. Now, according to residents, the pillars of the building got weakened due to an ongoing renovation of a nursing home located on its ground floor. They also said the building was not listed among those in the dangerous category. A total of 60 NDRF jawans along with sniffer dogs were pressed into service. Rescue operations are still underway. Later, the Mumbai police booked and detained Shiv Sena leader Sunil Shitab. Now, Shitab is being questioned by the police. Meanwhile, Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis also visited the spot, and he directed the Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation to file a report on the incident within 15 days. The Chief Minister also assured action against those responsible for the deadly mishap.
बीएमसी कमिश्नर को मैंने आदेश दिया है कि बीएमसी भी इसकी एक जांच करेगी. कमिश्नर 15 दिन में उसका रिपोर्ट हमको देंगे. जिस प्रकार से जो वहाँ काम चल रहा था, कई प्रकार के अटकलें हैं, आज उस पर कमेंट करना ठीक नहीं होगा, उसका कारण क्या है. पर जो भी हो, अगर किसी के जानबूझकर कोई कार्रवाई करने से अगर ये बिल्डिंग नीचे आई है तो ऐसे व्यक्ति या व्यक्तियों के ऊपर मनुष्यवध का भी गुनाह दाखिल किया जाएगा और सरकार इसमें बहुत सख्त से सख्त कार्रवाई करेगी.
News now. The US House of Representatives voted overwhelmingly on Tuesday to slap new sanctions on Russia, Iran and North Korea. This comes despite US President Donald Trump's objections to the legislation. House members backed the measure by a margin of 419 to 3, with strong support from Trump's fellow Republicans as well as Democrats. Now, with the bill, the US lawmakers have sent a message that they are willing to push hard as they investigate a possible meddling by Russia in the 2016 presidential election and a potential collusion by Republican Trump's campaign. The bill is likely to complicate President Donald Trump's hopes of improving relations with Russia. The legislation must now pass the Senate. Then it will be sent to the White House for Trump to sign into law or a veto. Now, rejecting the bill would carry a risk that his veto could be overridden by the US lawmakers.
This is a very important bill. These three regimes in different parts of the world are threatening vital US interests, and they are destabilizing their neighbors. It is well past time that we forcefully respond.
We simply cannot allow any foreign power to interfere in our electoral process. Given our president's complete unwillingness to hold Russia accountable for their attack, and let's not mistake it for anything else, it was an attack on America. It has become necessary for Congress to assert its role in this area and ensure that Russia will be held accountable.
And a wrap on all the other international news now in World Wrap. Sri Lanka's cabinet has cleared a revised agreement for the Chinese-built southern port of Hambantota. In the initial agreement, China's company Merchants Port Holdings was given an 80% stake. However, under the New Deal, Lankan government has sought to limit China's role to running only the commercial operations at the port. The new terms will help allay concerns of India as well as Japan and the United States that the port won't be used for military purposes. Pakistan's High Commissioner to India, Abdul Basit, has sought early retirement. Media reports say that there is a request that has been made has been accepted by Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif. Now, Basit was sent to retire from Ministry of Foreign Affairs in April 2018, but he submitted an application for early retirement. Media reports say that Basit was unhappy over the appointment of current Foreign Secretary Tehmina Janjua, who is a junior to Basit. The US Senate has voted to start debating a new Republican health care bill. It is a major step forward for President Donald Trump's attempts to repeal his predecessor's signature Obamacare law. The Republican Party, which needed a majority for the motion to go ahead, secured 51% votes after Vice President Mike Pence cast a tiebreaker in support of the legislation. Now, prior attempts to replace Obamacare have collapsed in the recent weeks. 7 civilians, including 2 young children, were killed by a car bomb that exploded at a security checkpoint in Egypt's Sinai Peninsula. The military said that it intercepted the vehicle at a checkpoint near the city of Arish, the capital of North Sinai province, and tried to contain the expected blast by running over the car with a tank. However, the bomb exploded after the tank had driven away, and the civilians nearby were caught in the blast. On to cricket news, and India have won the toss and elected to bat first in the first test against Sri Lanka in Galle. Now, India are without their regular opener KL Rahul, who has been ruled out due to a flu. Shikhar Dhawan has filled in his place. Now, meanwhile, all-rounder Hardik Pandya has been given his maiden test cap. Hosts Sri Lanka are without their test skipper Dinesh Chandimal, who is recovering from pneumonia. Rangana Herath is the stand-in captain for the match. Now, it is India's first series with a new coach, Ravi Shastri. The world #1 test side are in ominous form in the test, having just lost one of the last 23 matches that they have played. India had won the 3-match test series in Sri Lanka in 2015 after losing the first test in Galle. Now, besides the Test series, the two teams will also play 5 ODIs and 1 T20 match during the 1.5-month-long bilateral series. And Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari on Tuesday met the star cast of Rajya Sabha television production Rag Desh. Now, film producer and Rajya Sabha television CEO Gurdeep Singh Sappal introduced the film stars to the Vice President. The Vice President extended his best wishes for the success of the film. This film is slated to be released on 28th of July. So don't forget to watch the movie. And that's it in this edition of news. Thanks for watching.